No, give me that. You have the little one.
Avengers Endgame was filled with surprises like time travel and Fat Thor and all the special guest stars. But the biggest surprise was the moment when Steve Rogers wielded Mjolnir against Thanos. In my notebook, I just wrote the words, "so happy." This was a surprise, of course, because we had previously established that only Thor and Vision were worthy to lift the enchanted hammer.
You're all not worthy.
Age of Ultron even ends with a lengthy conversation about what worthy means.
Well, the Vision's artificial intelligence.
A machine. So it doesn't count. No, it's not like a person lifting the hammer.
Right. Different rules for us.
Nice guy, artificial.
Working in a video store these days, I have a lot of time to kill thinking about stuff. So I've been talking it over with my toys, and now I think I know exactly what worthy means in the MCU. I'm getting to that. He wants to know what worthy means. Well, in the first Thor movie, Odin strips away Thor's power.
I now take from you your power!
And he places an enchantment on the hammer.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
Afterwards, only the worthy can lift it, and that ain't Thor. But after he sacrifices himself for his friends, he's able to use the hammer once again. So that's the answer, right? If you're willing to lay down your life, you can lift the hammer? Nah, not quite. Look at the after party in Age of Ultron. Tony couldn't lift the hammer, and he was willing to sacrifice his life in the Avengers. In fact, all of these heroes are willing to die for a good cause. I mean, Hawkeye demonstrates this later in the movie. But in the first Thor film, the hero also learns humility. God, wait, hang on a second. Let me just straighten this up. That's better, proceed. After he can't lift the hammer, he's locked up, and Loki tells him a heartbreaking lie.
Let me explain to Father.
Father is dead.
Now, Thor believes that he can't return home, so he should just make a life for himself on Earth.
For the first time in my life, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
He's making breakfast, washing dishes. This is a humble man. Also, Cap's a pretty humble guy, and he can lift the hammer. But Bruce Banner's also pretty humble. I mean, after all, he's racked with guilt about creating the Hulk. And yet, he's not worthy. Now what about Loki? Why can't he lift the hammer? Is it because he's greedy and self-serving? Well, sure, but in Avengers Endgame, Thor is a pathetic, self-indulgent a-hole.
Oh, you know, Jane and I aren't even dating anymore, so... As these things happen, though, you know, nothing lasts forever. The only thing that...
Why don't you come sit?
I'm not done yet.
And yet...
I'm still worthy.
All right then, so how about Hela? Maybe the answer lies with her. Why can she lift the hammer? Well, for one, she doesn't really lift it, she stops it. But maybe she can only do this because Odin just died and his enchantment dies with him. But by the way, Odin's death is not the reason Captain America was able to lift Mjolnir, because his hammer came from a time when Odin was still alive, so the enchantment was still in effect. Or maybe Hela's strength was so great that she could override Odin's enchantment because the hammer was originally hers. And what about the Vision? Well, let's address the point Cap and Tony raised in Avengers Age of Ultron.
But if you put the hammer in an elevator, it would still go up. Elevator's not worthy.
I'm gonna miss these little talks of ours.
This is really a larger question of whether Vision is just a machine.
Tony, you lost another superbot?
I didn't lose him. He's more than that. He's evolving.
I believe Vision is sentient, and I can prove it by first talking about his creator, Ultron. Ultron was programmed to create world peace, and his only desire is to fulfill that programming. He has the facade of sentience.
Sorry, I was asleep. Or I was a dream.
He expresses human emotions.
I'm sorry. I'm sure that's gonna be okay. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't understand.
And he even makes jokes.
I've come to save the world. But also, yeah.
But really, he's just imitating his creator, Tony Stark.
Nobody has to break anything.
Clearly you've never made an omelet.
You beat me by 1 second.
So Ultron is not sentient. He only obeys programming. But Vision wasn't simply given life by the Mind Stone. He is the Mind Stone. It's part of him.
Your mind is made up of a complex construct of overlays. Jarvis, Ultron, Tony, me, the Stone.
And the stones have a certain base level of shared consciousness.
Soul holds a special place among the Infinity Stones. You might say it has a certain wisdom.
And the Vision was never programmed by anyone. From the beginning, he has made his own decisions.
I don't want to kill Ultron. He's unique.
Eventually, he even falls in love, so the vision is alive, and he's worthy to lift the hammer. So that makes 4 people who are worthy: Thor, Cap, Vision, and Odin. So what do all of these have in common? Well, it's important to remember that Odin enchanted the hammer, so what we really need to ask is, what does Odin think makes somebody worthy? Odin was raised by a warrior king to become a warrior king. In his early days as ruler, he conquered the 9 realms with war. His daughter Hela commanded his armies, using Mjolnir as a fearsome weapon. Mjolnir came to represent destruction, death, and conquest. It was a symbol of Asgard's power. But Hela's ferocity frightened Odin, and he did a little backtracking. He decided to rule peacefully and to rewrite the narrative of the hammer.
Weapon to destroy, or as a tool to build?
So he puts all of his hope in Thor to become a better man than him.
I'm not as strong as you.
No. You're stronger.
To rule with reason instead of force. But he was wrong. The Frost Giants hurt Thor's feelings when they crashed his party, so he retaliated and almost started a war.
You are a vain, greedy, cruel boy!
And this is the moment that Odin puts a worthy litmus test on the hammer.
If he be worthy, he shall possess the power of Thor.
He decided that power should be earned. Odin doesn't want another Hela. He doesn't want someone who uses power to commit violence. To be worthy means respecting power enough to not use it. Or, like he said,
As a weapon to destroy, or as a tool to build?
you don't believe me? Well, let's test this theory out. Tony is a futurist who thinks that he can solve every problem. He was a weapons designer who still designs weapons. In Age of Ultron, he wants to build,
I see a suit of armor around the world.
and he's always quick to enter battle.
I have a plan. Attack.
Even in Infinity War, his plan was to take the fight to Thanos.
So I say we take the fight to him. Doctor.
Rhodey was a soldier who actually stole Tony's armor and gave it to the military, so there's no doubt that he would use a hammer to attack first. Clinton Barton was an assassin and secret agent, but more importantly, he has a family and would do anything to protect them. In Endgame, he went on a violent rampage to rid the world of criminals, so of course he would attack first.
I've got a job to do.
And Loki, well, that one's obvious. Banner couldn't lift the hammer because he's half Hulk, and the Hulk is always consumed with rage. He's always on the offensive. But now, let's look at the people who can lift the hammer. Steve Rogers.
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Remember why Steve was chosen to be a super soldier?
Not a perfect soldier, but a good man.
At his medical exam, he tells Erskine,
I don't want to kill anyone. I don't like bullies.
and in Infinity War, he doesn't want to take the fight to Thanos. He works defensively, keeping his troops behind a force field. Steve always thinks defensively. I mean, his main weapon is a shield. And now the Vision. When he lifts the hammer, he's only a few seconds old.
Well, I was born yesterday.
But he's born kind of ideologically pure. Remember, he has Jarvis's memories. He already knows about Ultron's plans, and Ultron wants to destroy all life on Earth, and yet he's reluctant to attack.
I am on the side of life. Ultron isn't.
And finally, Odin is able to lift the hammer because, hundreds of years ago, he chose to use his strength to create peace instead of war. So the true measure of worthiness is the reluctance to use power, because you understand how dangerous that power is.
But a weak man knows the value of strength.
Well guys, that's my theory on worthiness. If you have any, let me know in the comments below. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I am Ryan Airy.